Pink Slip, Episode 3, The Lunch Date. Just to provide a little context, Pink Slip is a series of experiences I've had of having to terminate or sever ties in relationships, be it a result of betrayal or just simply outgrowing the situation or the person. I acquired a relationship with a young woman that I had grown to be very fond of through a work opportunity of my husband's. Most of us were from various parts of the country, and the company my husband worked for provided opportunities for people in certain age brackets or had similar interests to meet up so that they could form like these care cells. These care cells or support groups were to obviously provide support for one another because our families, we were the only ones here and our families were in their respective states. So I ended up here with my husband. The driving force was he accepted a job opportunity. Now, my husband and I, we pretty much grew up together. We actually went to high school together and had been dating since our high school days. Now, there were about 12 to 15 of us in this group, pretty much the same ethnic, racial makeup. And we would spend a lot of time together. We would go on outings. We would spend weekends at each other's homes. We would host activities and game nights. I did host a number of activities because I enjoyed hosting, and I was the housewife pretty much in the group. But this particular couple, we kind of bonded with more, and it was for several reasons. One, they were married. My husband and I were married, and pretty much everyone else in the group were single. I think it was one other married couple. The other thing was my husband and I, we had our young son, and he was a clever little boy. And this one couple, they were contemplating having children, and they enjoyed, playing with our son, hanging out with our son. So that created opportunities for us to spend even more time together. I don't know if I mentioned this, but we went to church together. So that was something that kind of galvanized us as this couple friendship group. So having this subgroup within the group, the girl and I, this young woman and I, we became rather close. We would do things independent of the group, and I enjoyed her company. Unfortunately, after several years together, my husband and I made the decision to dissolve our marriage. And with the dissolution or breakup of a marriage, it's inevitable that people, I think, believe they have to choose, allegiances and, whose side that they're going to be on. And, I wasn't surprised by that. And I really expected people to gravitate more toward my husband because, again, I was a byproduct of this group. Most of these people, they all work together. And not only did they work together, a lot of them actually went to college together. So they had this pre-existing relationships and interactions, be it through their college experiences or the social groups that they were all kind of tied to, fraternities, sororities, and, just being in professional orgs together. And I remember one particular day as we were in the midst of our divorce, my girlfriend coming to me and she said, hey, so-and-so is having a get-together, and they were asking, they weren't sure, how should they do this? Who should they invite? Should they invite you or the husband? And I'll never forget how that made me feel. There was this conversation about me, something so sensitive about me being had outside of me. And I remember feeling I am pretty much expendable to these people. And it was because of that, I had to take authority over the situation. And what I conveyed to my girlfriend was, I said, you know what? Let me just be very clear about this so that there is no confusion. anytime anything is to be had, tell the group to always choose him. Because I'm highly independent, I'm sociable, and I can go and build my own tribe. Whereas my husband, he was kind of conservative. He was an introvert, and he was, on the quiet and shyer side. And I said, he's going to need the support of this group. So always invite him. I'm declaring that he can have all the friends. So my girlfriend and I, she and I still stayed friends, and her husband and I got along quite well. As a matter of fact, he had at some point had a surgery, and she asked me to go to her home to look in on him and kind of take care of him because she had a business engagement and she didn't want him to be alone. So, she trusted me like that because, I'm that girl. But one of the things I did notice that when I would interact with my girlfriend, we would have like just, run of the mill kind of conversation. But then I could always kind of sense this energy in our space that, oh, she has something she needs to say to me. And it was becoming very commonplace that we would have our conversation that was mutually exclusive of anything having to do with my ex-husband. But then she would have to say something like, oh, he invited us to his house for a barbecue, or, oh, he's putting together this and da-da-da-da-da-da-da. Now, although she was sharing it with me so that it wouldn't, if the information came across my ear gate, by some other means, I wouldn't have been caught off guard or surprised. And I could understand that. However, that was like weighing on me, and it got old pretty quick. So one day I'm with my girlfriend and we're having our regular conversation, but I can sense the heaviness of energy entering our space. And she proceeds to tell me that hey, I just want to let you know that your ex sent me and my husband an invitation to his wedding. And she proceeded to go on and say, like, she didn't want to go to the wedding, but, she didn't want to dishonor her husband. And after all, that was her husband. If he's going, then, she would need to accompany him. And I completely understood that because I knew where she was coming from, considering she and I had the same biblical beliefs. So I knew it was tied up in that. But how and ever, I knew that this couldn't go on any longer. I knew I personally did not want to always be on pins and needles about every event going on in my ex-husband's life, because I am a person that I move on, and I move on without any tethering to any situation or person. And I didn't want to hear about the wedding. I didn't want to hear about the baby shower announcements. I didn't want to hear about going to the kids' birthday parties. I didn't want to hear about, oh, they're having an anniversary dinner. I knew I did not want or need to hear about those things. So I invited my girlfriend to lunch, and this is what I said to her. I said, I love you dearly, and I appreciate everything you brought into my life. However, I am really trying to heal from this situation, and I cannot do that properly or effectively by continuing to have these conversations where I am kind of like ambushed with information about my ex-husband and how his life is progressing and moving on. So with that said, I have to act in my best interest, and I need to terminate our relationship. It's not anything personal with you. It's just I need to heal, and I can't heal if every time I'm anticipating you snatching that bandage off my wound. I, again, appreciate the time we spent together, the camaraderie we shared. I love you, and I wish you the very best. She dropped a few tears, and she said that she hated that I had to make that decision, but she understood. And that was that. I never spoke to my girlfriend again, but I know she's doing well because she was a rock star. And I'm so proud of myself because I'm doing well, because I'm a rock star in my own right. Never be afraid to do what's best for you, your best interest, and your mental health, because all you have is you. All right. Take care.